Merry meet. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Amherst. I'm Reverend Michelle Buhite. I'm the minister here. My pronouns, which I offer to create a truly inclusive and brave space for all to live into the fullness of our identities, are she and her. You'll notice today I'm a one-woman show. Have mercy on me. But that reminds me, there is a worship associate training coming up next Saturday. I couldn't help but remember that in passing. So look at your newsletter, and maybe I'll see some of you there, and you can help to expand the number of voices that are shared from up front. As you came in this morning, you may have noticed that there is a round table at the back of the chapel. And on it, there are natural elements, mostly leaves, because our caretaker and tech guy, Andy, and I were out picking beautiful leaves off of trees yesterday. So if you did not have an opportunity to contribute to this morning altar, this moment of beauty that we create together, if you didn't do that on your way in, please make sure that as you're on the stampede to coffee, that you maybe pause and add a little element of beauty that signifies your participation and your contribution to our shared beauty. As Unitarian Universalists, we are people of the wide path, engaging in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and then coming together to make a difference. We're so glad that you have chosen to be here this morning. A reminder that there are some of you who are meeting us virtually. Hello, camera. And there are those of you who are in the chapel today, and all are equally welcome. Throughout the month of October, we have been exploring the topic of courage. And today we will live into the courage to hope by honoring and remembering those who have gone before us and committing ourselves to be worthy ancestors for those who will come after us. We are a beloved community, a gathering of people who have chosen to journey together, to encourage one another, and to be part of something larger than ourselves. Because we aspire to be such a people, we make bold promises about how we will be together. I invite you to share in our congregational covenant. Together we promise to gather in compassionate community, to celebrate diversity of thought and unity of spirit, and to seek wholeness for ourselves, our children, and our world. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I know it feels like it's been here our whole lives, but in early 2020, under the direction of our Green Justice team, we began a practice of acknowledging the land upon which our church rests. And that land once belonged to and was nurtured and cherished by the Haudenosaunee, and before them, the Neutrals. So today, as we offer a libation, as I pour water on the stones, we acknowledge with great gratitude and respect that we are stewards of this land. We have inherited it from those who came before, and we do our best to make it available for those who will come after us. Our song of intention this morning is one we have been learning. We have managed to do it in a round, but you're going to grant me mercy for being the one woman show up here running back and forth, and I'm going to grant you the mercy to not necessarily have to sing it as a round unless the Spirit so moves. Okay, so we will leave it open. We are weaving our lives. We are weaving our lives. We are weaving threads. We are weaving the bright and dark threads of our journeys through, of our journeys through. This is going to be marvelous. We'll sing it through 3 times. Here we go. We are weaving our lives. We are weaving our hearts and our minds. We are weaving the bright and dark threads of our journeys through. We are weaving our lives. We are weaving our hearts and our minds. We are weaving the bright and dark threads of our journeys through. One more time, softly like a prayer. We are weaving our lives. We are weaving our hearts and our minds. We are weaving the bright and dark threads of our journeys through. Thank you for your courage. It is our custom when we gather to light a chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. The chalice represents for us the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. So as I offer these words, Mickey will light our chalice. We gather around this flame that symbolizes the truth we know and the truth we seek, the community we share, and the community we aspire to, the learning that enables us, and the mystery that encompasses. Here we speak the language of memory and hope. Here we are welcomed, our journeys embraced and shared. Blessed be. Thank you. Today we remember. Remembering can be risky if the memory is painful and if it remains unresolved. And remembering can be a pathway to healing and letting go. On the eve of All Hallows, the time when the veil between the living and the dead feels thin, and we may find ourselves more open to the mysterious, we arrive at this moment of memory, All Souls. Today we remember. We have come here to remember together. Remembering is remembering, the opposite of dismembering, putting ourselves back together, weaving ourselves together. We honor those who have gone before us, and we remember them. So if you brought a photo or some memento, I invite you at this time to bring it forward. And as I said, there is also a bowl of colored glass stones so that you can, if you would like to participate, you can still demonstrate that care and remembrance. So come forward as you will. I offer reading Gratitude to My Ancestors by Marta I. Valentin. With honor and respect, these eyes see for you all manner of life you could not have imagined. My lips move with the rhythm of your words flowing through me, my tongue caressing each morsel of wisdom I'm graced to pass on. Your DNA rides my veins, and with every breath I take, your cautious steps from the past towards a fuller life become bold moves I make toward my destiny. Together, we wrap arms around a new generation, here to become who they were born to be, to cast their magic as we once did, and bless each day for their ability to do so. For you, dear ancestors, we live this day.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
I would like you to note that I'm juggling a clicker, my tablet, a prop, and a book. And now I will stand on my head. No, I really will not. That would just be too amusing for words. Okay. So at this time of year, as the days grow shorter and darkness pervades, all of nature is reminding us of the eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The seasons have moved from that soft, dawning light of spring through the bright, full day of summer, and now we ease into the twilight of late fall in anticipation of the drowsy darkness of winter. But we do not fear the loss of light, because we know that as the earth makes her journey around the sun, that spring will come again. And with its lengthening days, and the cycle will begin again. And that reminds me of a story. So I'd like to invite kids or anybody that would like to be able to see pictures close up to come and join me up front on the bench here. You don't have to sit on the floor, it's a long ways down. I will be showing some of the pictures up front for those of you who are stationary. This is the prize. The people who are on the move get to see all the pictures, yes. So this is one of my very favorite books. It's called The Memory Tree by Britta Teckentrup, which is almost as unusual a last name as Buhite, I will just say. Okay, here comes the real excitement. All right. There once was a fox who lived with all the other animals in the forest. Fox had lived a long and happy life, but now he was tired. Very slowly, Fox made his way to his favorite spot in the clearing. He looked at his beloved forest one last time and lay down. Fox closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and fell asleep forever. Everything around Fox was still and peaceful. Snow began to fall, gently covering him with a soft blanket. Owl had watched Fox from the top of his tree. He flew down and landed next to his friend. Owl was very sad. He had known Fox for a long time, but Owl knew that the time had come for his friend to leave. One by one, Fox's friends came to the clearing. First squirrel and weasel, then bear, deer, and bird, and finally rabbit, mouse, and others came to sit by Fox. Fox had been loved by everyone. He had been kind and caring. No one could imagine life in the forest without him. The animals sat in silence for a very long time. Owl was the first to speak. He smiled warmly and said, "I remember when Fox and I were very young. Every autumn we raced to see who could catch more falling leaves." And the other animals remembered, and they smiled. Mouse said softly, "I remember how much Fox loved the sunset. He always sat at this exact spot." The animals remembered. Many of them had joined Fox watching the sun go down. It was a happy memory, and their sad hearts filled with warmth. Bear remembered how Fox had looked after her cubs one spring. Rabbit smiled when she told the story of how Fox had played tag with her in the tall grass. Squirrel talked about Fox helping him dig up buried nuts in the deep snow last winter. One by one, the animals remembered their favorite stories about Fox. Fox had touched the lives of all the animals in the forest with his warmth and kindness, and they all smiled, remembering. While the animals talked, a little orange plant grew out of the snow where Fox was lying. Small and delicate at first, hardly even noticeable. The plant grew bigger, stronger, and more beautiful with each story. The animals talked about Fox all through the night. And in the morning, when the little plant had grown into a small tree, oopsie daisy, the animals saw the tree and knew that Fox was still a part of them. During the next days, weeks, and months, the animals remembered many more stories about Fox, and their heavy hearts began to feel lighter. The more they remembered, the more the tree grew. It grew higher and higher and more beautiful. And it was the tallest tree in the forest, a tree made from the memories and full of love. Fox's tree was big and strong enough to shelter all the animals. It was always buzzing with life. The birds built their nests among the leaves, and Owl raised his grand chicks on the branches. I have a special affinity for grand chicks. Squirrel found a cozy home in the trunk, and bear, deer, and rabbit slept in its shade. The tree gave strength to everyone who had loved Fox. And so Fox lived on in their hearts forever. I love that story, and I didn't cry this time, which I feel is an accomplishment. So I have a memory tree. It's not one growing outside. It's this little tree with photographs of people I love. And some of those people are still alive, and some of those people are no longer alive, but they live in my heart. So I see my friend John. I like to see him. He's got a nice smile. And that's my Grandma Mudge, and that's my Grandpa Mudge. A lot of these are pictures of my daughter, because, you know, all the things. This is my husband's father, Harold. That's my dad, and that's my mom, and that's my Grandpa Norman, my mom's dad, and my Grandma Norman, who I called Claire Marie. And actually, I called my Grandpa Norman Paca, because I like to invent names for people, and then it became his name, so I win. So this is my memory tree. So maybe, I don't know, I wonder what your memory trees could look like. Maybe it's a photograph of a tree. Maybe it's an actual tree that you plant, like on purpose. If you wanted to plant a tree somewhere on our property, you would just need to have a little conversation with us here, and we could figure out the best place for that to go. So, or you could draw a tree, or imagine a tree with all the faces of the people you love. Each of us carries with us into this time our cares and concerns, our joys and our sorrows. And together we create the container where we can be held gently by this beloved community. For those joining virtually, I invite you to perhaps speak aloud your cares or the joys, or perhaps write them in the chat in the live stream. For those here in the chapel, I invite you to come forward, and up here there is a table labyrinth. And if you'd like to place a stone or a shell on the table labyrinth as the music plays, just as a symbol of bringing your whole self and trusting this beloved community to hold whatever it is that you're carrying with you today. So come forward as you will. let's share a few breaths as we expand our circle to include those who are not present, but whom we carry in our hearts. Those who are ill, those who are in pain either in body or in spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We are part of a web of life that makes us one with all the universe. That includes all of humanity, all of the natural world, all of the mystery beyond what we know. We are grateful for the miracle of consciousness that we share, the consciousness that gives us the power to remember, to care, to love. May it ever be so in our lives. I hope you'll sing with me. We'll sing it through 3 times. If they think the kids have already gone to the we're out of here. It's been so somber. So we'll sing this through 3 times. If you don't know it, you'll know it after the first time, and you can join us in the next 2 times. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Well, it's that time of year again. Time to buy candy. I've been practicing, and so I had to go buy more candy. I'm sure I'm the only person that happens to. So now I've bought things I don't care about because I'm really so sick. So All Hallows, All Saints, All Souls, are these just 3 different names for the same thing? Well, kinda, but not really. What these 3 holy days have in common is an understanding that as the wheel of the year turns and transitions from life to death, that the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead is very thin. It is a time to honor the beloved dead and to renew, possibly, the prayers and spells that keep them on their side of the veil. The original date for the Catholic celebration of All Saints was in the month of May. It was moved to the 1st of November as part of the conversion campaign of Northern Europeans who persisted in celebrating the Feast of the Final Harvest at the end of October, All Hallows, Halloween, Samhain. The final harvest, which in Celtic was known as Samhain, was the night when the spirits of the dead walked among the living. As the church strove to convert the pagans, they quickly learned that if you can't beat them, join them. And holy days and festivals were assimilated. And so, All Saints' Day, the observance of not only the canonized saints of the Catholic tradition, but also a time to honor the beloved baptized dead, those who had passed on to their heavenly home, well, that was moved from May to the 1st of November, effectively removing Samhain, or All Hallows, from the spotlight and relegating it to the warm-up act for the church-sanctioned holiday. Pretty neat. But what about all those unbaptized dead, or those who may be languishing in purgatory, awaiting their heavenly reward? Well, that's where All Souls' Day comes in. All Souls Day is kind of the day after Thanksgiving turkey soup of All Saints Day. It's the repackaged leftovers. Yes, All Souls is for the leftovers. The time to honor the dearly departed who, at least according to the Orthodox, probably were not going to make it to heaven. So no wonder the Unitarians and the Universalists both adopted the concept of all souls rather than all saints. There are at least 22 Unitarian Universalist congregations with all souls in their names and not a single all saints. Do you hear like a theological nanny nanny boo boo? So lightness and, a little theological snark aside, the foundation of universalism, which is the second half of our blended faith, is that salvation is universal because it comes from Protestant Christianity. So there was a concern about salvation. Salvation is universalism, meaning all souls would one day be reconciled to God. Now, whether or not we personally use the language of God and salvation, the message resonates today. No one is alone. No one is lost to love. No one is beyond hope. It is this conviction that makes universalism so difficult to live into. I mean, what about the bad guys? Don't they ultimately get what they deserve? All souls will one day be reconciled. Oh, but that's not fair. I mean, what about the evil people? I mean, the really evil people. Surely there must be some kind of eternal torment for them. All souls will one day be reconciled. This message is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It is not a license to do whatever one wants with no fears of consequences. The message is that all souls will one day be reconciled. And the consequence is that although we will be joined in the mystery from which we came, we will have squandered the greatest gifts of all, life and love. The consequence is bringing shame and sorrow to an ocean of love. There is no such thing as a universalist deathbed conversion. No living it up and greedily grabbing up the good life to the detriment of others, knowing that there's an easy way out at the end of life, if the correct words are sincerely spoken. Universalism says that all souls will one day be reconciled, not expunged. May the life I lead speak for me. May the life I lead speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, may the life I lead speak for me. It matters what we do with our lives. It matters what kind of people we are and how we treat others and this planet. That as far as we know, this planet is the only one that supports life as we are able to live it. Our origins and shared destiny are equally mysterious. My mentor, David Bumbaugh, said it best. We believe that in this interconnected existence, the well-being of one cannot be separated from the well-being of the whole, that ultimately we all spring from the same source and all journey to the same ultimate destiny. We honor all souls because we are all connected. We come from and return to mystery. No one is alone. No one is lost to love. No one is beyond hope. Our All Souls observance today is kind of in three parts that encompass past, present, and future. We began by acknowledging those souls who've come and gone before us. They were probably far from perfect, but their lives blessed us. and maybe even made us who we are today. And I'm going to say from experience, it's quite likely that we just never found the opportunity to share with them how much their lives meant to us and influenced our own. We are sometimes so shy to share words of love and appreciation. In a few moments, I'm going to ring the chime and speak the names of those members and friends of this congregation who have died in the preceding year. Following a second ringing of the chime at the end, I'm going to invite you to, just from where you are, without worrying if voices overlap, to speak the names that you would like to bring into the circle. And there is no boundary. It doesn't have to be within the last 12 months. If there is someone's name that you would like to bring into the circle, just speak it out loud from where you are. But first, a reading from Kathleen McTeague. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living. And so let us name those who lend strength in our lives. Hear now the list of those friends and members of this congregation who have passed from this life since last October. As with any listing, it is undoubtedly incomplete. And so in that time following, when you speak names, if you know of someone that should have been named, please name them. We remember today Yvonne Stalker, Eunice Schifferly, Tom Dibble, Mirth Rolsvig, Larry Reed, Jean Hutchinson, Don Sherman. Speak aloud now those names you carry in your heart that should be added to this list. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's someone you long to honor, but giving voice in this gathering is kind of difficult. Maybe it just didn't feel right. And so in the intimacy of this moment, I invite you to whisper or murmur those that should be included. Bring those names to the circle. We believe that in this interconnected existence, the well-being of one cannot be separated from the well-being of the whole, that ultimately we all spring from the same source and all journey to the same ultimate destiny. It is the connection that is our source of strength and our message to the world. You are not alone. No one is lost to love. No one is beyond hope. Today we honor All Hallows and All Souls, those who are departed and yet still present to us in memory, because we are all connected. May the love I share speak for me. May the love I share speak for me when I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say. May the love I share speak for me. The love we share reaches back to those who have gone before us, but our love also, in addition to going to the past and pooling in the present, flows out to the future, to those for whom we will become worthy ancestors. I'm reminded of a poem attributed to the 4th century Indian Sanskrit poet Kalidasa. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. When we remember, we do more than simply recall moments or facts. When we remember, we literally remember, knit back together. When we remember, we weave together. Our lives are woven together by the threads of the past and the threads of our own making, the choices we make, the lives we lead. What tapestry are we weaving with the lives we are living, the choices we are making? When our friends gather to remember us when we are gone, what memory tree will bloom? Sing with me. Let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the life I lead speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the love I share speak for me. Our service draws to an end, which means our service to the world is ready to begin. So let me tell you about some opportunities to connect and serve in the days to come. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that you can give financially to this congregation. In addition to pledges that are like your crystal ball of I will give this much over this period of time, you can give weekly. There's a basket at the back. You can text your gift to the number on the screen. You can go to our website and click on the giving link. We have all the ways for you to participate. Because we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig. And that is exactly as it should be, as long as we dig and plant for those who will come after us. So please rise and body your spirit as we sing our blessing and then remain standing as we extinguish our chalice. Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. up to greet you as you leave your past behind. I will think about you gently, and I'll hold you in my mind. Sneak a glance at each other on the last verse. Travel light and travel easy, till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. We extinguish our chalice with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace and find the clipboard.